Um, all right. So just got obviously watched the game a few different times over the course of the last 48 hours, I would say, or whenever the game ended Friday evening. Disappointed in the outcome. I did feel as if our team has really improved and the way they competed. I thought it was an outstanding first half of football. I think we had 5 offensive possessions. We scored on 3 of them. They had 5 defensive possessions. They scored on none of them. They were able to, I think our defense held them to 65 yards in the first half. So obviously that was all positive. We came out in the second half, and I know we had an interception called back due to a defensive offsides in the first drive. We had a missed tackle the next play, which resulted in a 40-yard gain, and then they wound up scoring a touchdown to make it 13-7. Thought our offense answered well at 16-7, went down and scored, made it 16-7, got a 3-and-out on defense, drove down to the 28-yard line with 10 minutes left in the game, up 9, and turned the ball over. And what we're trying to teach our team is one play is one play. One play is not the outcome. And we're up 9 with 12 minutes left, I think is what it was, 11:48 left. And it felt as if after that, there was just a deflation of almost a here we go again mentality rather than, okay, we're still up 9 and they have to drive 72 yards. And then it took them 1 minute and 9 seconds, and they drove 72 yards and scored a touchdown to make it 16-14. And at that point, we're still up 2, and we had a 4th and 1.5 with 10 minutes and 40 seconds left on our own 33.5-yard line. In my mind, there was no question to punt it. I said that as the offensive coordinator, I wanted to go for it. But as the head coach, I knew I couldn't in that situation. Our defense only had let up 170 yards at that point in the game. So I felt confident that they were going to stop them. We punted them back to the 18-yard line, and then they went ahead and drove 80 and scored. And then our penalties and sacks started at that point at 6:40 left. And, that's what we have to avoid, that type of stuff. So we got to learn how to win. We have not earned that right yet, even though we've played good games against certain teams. We need to play better games and score. So we need to figure that out. A lot of good things, obviously, going on. Defensively, we're playing very well in terms of yardage. Offensively, in terms of time of possession, is enabling. It kind of works together. In the last 8 years, we haven't been higher than 97th in the country in time of possession on offense. It's been 97th and above. I think we were at 70th or 68th in the country, which kind of works hand in hand with the defense. Coach Cecil reminded me that the other day about how when you hold the ball, defense is on there less, defense out there less, good things happen. But special teams did a great job. Certainly won that phase. Blocked a punt. Would have loved to scoop and score rather than scoop and fall. But punted well, kicked well, but not enough. So now we have a chance to go out there and go play USC and play our best football game this coming Saturday.
Go ahead, Troy. So you mentioned the whole entire here we go again mentality. How do you get over that hurdle as a team?
Yeah, well, we are spending an enormous amount of time on the sports psych part of the game. We brought our sports psychologists into team meetings, speak to our team about mindfulness, speak to our team about the importance of just, hey, one play is one play. And I actually saw Notre Dame against SC this past week. They were up 2 scores, threw an interception. USC scored, and then Notre Dame went back and scored. And it went from a 6-point game back to a 13-point game. And that's what we have to learn how to do. We have to just realize that it is not a here we go again. None of us have, there is no here we go. It is what it is. Each game is a separate game. Each play is a separate play. We needed to be better being able to handle that and get that get that stop after the interception. It wasn't in our territory; it was in theirs, and that's a huge part of it. And had an interception to go up, man, we would have been up big if we got that first interception in the second half and jumped offside. So we got to get rid of that mentality.
What did you make of Will Plummer's performance in the game, and is there any change in your thought process as far as the quarterback snaps and so forth?
We don't have any options at quarterback. So we have one quarterback, and Will. Jordan and Gunnar are done for the year, and we have Jamari, who we're going to continue to try to get some more of those. Call it Wildcat, call it just when he goes in just at the quarterback position, he'll have another week of reps. So I believe that there'll be some more opportunity to expand his package. Yeah, I mean, we didn't play good enough at quarterback. I mean, we're 13 for 21 for 58 yards or whatever the number was. I think it was something to that effect. There were some good conversions. There were some big third down conversions. But we also need to help them. As I said to Berryhill, we can't run a 5-yard route at 3 yards, get tackled, be a yard short. You got to run a 5-yard route at 5 yards. If it's a 3rd and 4, we need to be able to, do better in getting open at certain times. And then we had a protection issue once or twice in the play action game. We had 2 false starts on 2 deep shots. We were trying to take 2 deep shots and we false started both times. Which are disappointing. So, Will needs to play better. He knows he needs to play better. He wants to play better. But, Jamari did a nice job as well coming in.
Follow up to that, if you look at the pass distribution chart, I think 16 of his 19 attempts, one was a throwaway, I guess, were 9 yards or fewer. If you looked at Gunnar the previous week, it was very similar, like almost everything 9 yards or fewer. What is behind that? Is that design? Is that the decision-making, protection?
I would say that there were certainly 3 levels to most of those throws, meaning there was an opportunity to hit Jalen Johnson in the end zone for a touchdown on a corner post, and we threw it, a 4-yard route to the left. Some of it has to do with protection. Some of it has to do with when we're throwing the ball. I think, we're not trying to, light up the pass stats at this point in time as much as trying to keep drives alive. So I think we ran it 42 times and threw it 23. So 8 of those, I think, were on 3rd down, maybe even 10. 3 of those passes at the end of the game, we were just trying to get to the 50 so we could reach the end zone on the Hail Mary. So we tried to hit 2 quick 6-yard outs, which we dropped both of those. If we made them, the Hail Mary fell on the 10. If we got those 12 yards, it would have fallen 2 yards into the end zone. So I think some of it had to do with that. Some of it had to do with getting the ball out too quick, taking the first read sometimes, or skipping the first read and going to the second. I think Gunnar would tell you the 4th play of the game, we had Alex Lyons down the field. We threw it to the flat. You missed that. So we need to get better there. We need to get better at giving them some more options down the field. I think we had a couple PIs on deep throws. So all of it comes down to we got to, coach better, call plays that get them, down the field more. We got to be smarter with the ball. We got to take shots when the shots are called. And then we got to be able to make those plays down the field.
Jedd, what happened with the defensive communication in the second half that led to 10 men and having to take the timeout in the 3rd quarter? And then 12 men at the end of the game. And how's that supposed to work?
Yeah, so the first time they were switching packages and they didn't get the 11th player on the field, just going from one sub-package to another sub-package to a base package based on the personnel that Washington ran in. We had 10 guys on the field. We noticed that we took a timeout. Obviously, you'd love to be perfect in those situations. That happens. I know that time it was what it was. It didn't feel like it hurt as much as it ended up hurting us not having a timeout at the end of the game, which I hate second half timeouts unless they're within the last 5 minutes of the game. But we didn't want to play with 10, so we had to use it there. And then at the end of the game, we had 11 guys on the field. We had a new package in. I would say a call in that didn't look like we had the defensive linemen in those spots. But it was a 2 defensive lineman, 5 linebacker, 4 DB package. And there was a reaction by some of our players felt like we were missing a guy. If you kind of saw it on the TV copy, you saw 3 guys pointing. But we weren't missing anyone. And what happened was they're pointing, and one of the defensive linemen just sprinted in, thinking that we were missing a guy. And then as he sprinted in, the ball was snapped. He was getting lined up. We got to stop, and we had 12 guys. As I said after the game, it's inexcusable. We can't allow that to happen as coaches. So I take that 100% on me, that we have to make sure that our communication is stellar when it comes to end-of-the-game situations, substitutions, clock management, and all those things. Because we would have the ball with 2 minutes and 31 seconds left. Instead, we got the ball with 21 seconds left. That's a huge difference.
Jedd, when you're calling plays, how far ahead, are you looking? You have 2 or 3 plays that depend on what happened, and then what was the thought process on the screenplay at that particular time?
I try to kind of envision what I think that call will bring. So let's say it's a 1st and 10, and we call a shot play, down the field. I would say to myself, all right, we hit the shot. What would be my 1st and 10 call after that shot? Or 2nd and 10, what's going to be my call if we don't hit it? And if we check it down, what's our call it our run play on that situation? So I'd probably try to think of 2 to 3 plays during each play call. Try to figure out what I believe the result will be. In regards to the screen, that was we were in a situation, it's 1st and 10 on the plus 28, kind of have a tendency to take some shots in that fringe zone. Felt they were going to play zone coverage, thought they were going to give us a 2-safety defense, which they did. Ran a play action screen to make it look like we were taking a shot down the field, ran 4 guys vertical on the shot, and they ended up running a Sam Strong safety blitz. The defensive end dropped, and that's why you got to dirt it.
You run the ball really well in that drive. Do you just keep running it, or do you
No, I think if we ran it there and took a 2-yard loss, we would say, we could have taken a shot. I think if we take a shot and we hit the shot, we would have said, well, it was a great shot. No, I think there's no safer throw in football than a screen pass. So I didn't feel like I was being wildly crazy when I called it, to be quite honest. I thought it was a situation that I felt like we would get an upfield rush by the outside defensive end. I thought we'd be able to get 3 guys out there and have Stevie be able to get inside the 10. Actually, Notre Dame, I think, called 2 screens against USC on the 25-yard line this past game in 2 different series. I don't think there was anything unique about the call. I don't think there was anything truly that special other than the fact that we poorly executed it.
Time for a couple more. We'll go Damian and Greg.
Jedd, game 8 of the season, 10 penalties at home. Why?
Boy, I wish I knew the why on that. You should not have a false start at home. That's first of all. I would start there. I would say shouldn't have defensive offsides. It's not like it was that loud that we couldn't hear. First of all, we should be just watching the ball, and we had 2 of those. The 12 men on the field, as I said earlier, inexcusable. A PI call, that's going to happen. I don't think that has anything to do with, 8th game of the season. We had 2 holding penalties, I think it was. 1 was critical. We had a 1st and 10 on the plus 12 up, 6 at the time, 13-7. We would have had 2nd and 3 on the 7, didn't get it, and wound up having a holding penalty to make it 1st and 20 on the 22. I don't know. I don't know why, per se. I know that we talk about it all the time. We emphasize it. We know that self-inflicted wounds are a killer. We don't have the team to overcome penalty after penalty, turnover, and it's not where you want to be. You don't want to be in a situation where you're just, getting in, as I said at the end of the game, getting in a fist fight with one hand tied behind your back. So discipline, making the right decisions, staying focused, and really being able to play every play. It's an individual play rather than allow a play to distract you from the play before is critical.
From a coaching perspective, why don't Power 5 schools use variations of the options as a base offense?
Variation of the option?
Yeah.
I think probably, if I was to take a guess, would be the amount of skilled players that are out there right now and that dream of playing in the NFL, I think a lot of teams would be concerned in recruiting that they would be selling a program that really isn't going to correlate almost at all to showcase the talents of some of the other players. Some of the programs that do use the option, obviously all of the service academies, most of their players aren't looking to go on to the NFL, where I think a lot of the Power 5 programs, like you asked, would be more, you're still recruiting to say, hey, here's how we can showcase your skill sets, and that would be probably the biggest harm in recruiting. I think it could probably work to a degree. Georgia Tech did it with Paul Johnson, would be the last one that I could think of in a Power 5 program that has really committed to the option. I think it'd be hard. I think it'd be a hard sell to do it more than as a change-up.
We'll finish up with Michael.
Two questions for you. You guys have not scored in the fourth quarter in the past 4 games. What is your interpretation of that?
I don't know why that's the case. I don't have a great answer on how that's, what's happened. I could say, against Oregon, I felt we had it was 24-19, right, to start the fourth, then 27-19. I thought we had, a couple possessions inside the plus 40, didn't make anything happen. Against UCLA, same deal, 17-16, and then Jordan got hurt, I think, right at the end of the third. Or early fourth, right in that range. I don't think there was much. I think that kind of messed us up a little bit. It was 24-16 with 9 minutes left. We couldn't move the ball. And then this game, again, I felt as if we're on the plus 28-yard line going in on 1st and 10. I had no expectation of not scoring there. But, we have to play 60 minutes of football. We're playing like 47 minutes, and we're just picking which 47 we want to play. Some games we started down 21-0 against San Diego State and then played 45 minutes, and it was 17-14 the rest of the game. Down 21-3 against BYU, and then played the final 30 minutes and whatever it was, scored 13, and they scored 3. We got to figure out a way to play 60. And, that's what we got to do. And that comes down to scoring in the fourth. And our team understands that. We've certainly brought that to their attention, that it's our job to play 60 full minutes of football. Our fans were uber supportive on Friday night. It's always tough to get a huge crowd on a Friday night, and that's fine. We'll get there. But the people that were there, they saw a team that was, I used it I said it during the whole week. This team was up 44-0 against us a year ago, and in the fourth quarter, and this year we're up 16-7 in the fourth. They saw a team that was really doing everything they could to try to win a game.
If Anderson and Wiley are able to come back this week, will they just be the 1 and 2 running backs again, or will you mix in those other guys a little bit more?
That's it. That's going to be a really interesting call predicament. Because of the fact that I think that the young guys have played really, really well. And, Michael and Drake definitely will come in as well. But I'm not ready to say by any means that it's just going to become a two-man show the other way. Jalen and Stevie will have plays in this game, and they'll carry the football. There's no doubt about it. Jalen carried it 19 times this past game for 63 yards. I think there was some more opportunity out there. Stevie had the big one, which was great to see. Jamari's going to carry the ball, and, we should run it a lot, but I don't know how many of them. I think all 4 are going to have some carries.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.